YouTube, and welcome back to my garage. It is time for another project on this 2025 Ranger Raptor, and it is finally the time of the year in Phoenix where we can work with the door open. There's my trusty helper right there. She's not much help, but she's fun to have around. But anyway, it is that time of year where I can work with the garage door open and I don't have to run the AC anymore. And it is a beautiful Saturday here about mid-October. So anyway, this project, we're going to be installing the SPD Performance stainless downpipes. So I opted to go with these because from everything I hear from the FenFab guys is it's almost impossible to actually get these to your doorstep. I ordered these on a Tuesday. I had a tracking number the same day and they showed up on Friday. So I'm really liking that. And let's see what's in the box. So I've already opened it. I know, couldn't wait. Anyway, you open the box and you get a little bit of stuff inside here. You get a break-in procedure, idle for 10 minutes, 2,500 RPM for 2 minutes, cool it down, and then drive it lightly for 5 miles before you go wide open throttle. So simple enough on that. Then there's one little, why they made this a decal, I don't know, but it says, please swap secondary O2 sensors when installing these pipes. I'm assuming that means left to right and right to left other than anything else. So I don't know why. Maybe the wires aren't long enough to reach if you do it the factory way. And you get a nice little SPD decal. And then you take the cover off of this. And I tell you, man, the workmanship on these things are absolutely beautiful. Now, SPD is offering the new 500 cell cat versus the older 400 cell cat, which is the only thing that FenFab actually still offers right now. And someone messaged me and told me these are the same cats they put on the F-150 Raptor. SPD is claiming better than 90% increased flow over the 400 cell, and that's the purpose of putting these on anyways, for increased flow. So excited to put those on. So I don't anticipate this is going to be a very long job, but I'll tell you what, man, the workmanship on these, the welds, everything on this is just really nice. So anyway, it's pretty simple. It's a couple bolts and one clamp and a couple hangers on each side. I don't anticipate it's going to take that long. So I've already got the truck up in the air, just drove it up on ramps and then put jacks in the back. There should be more than enough room to get under there. And I pulled the inner fender liners out. And let me get some light on here. What I did is a couple little pieces of hardware. Actually, this is all you need to take out. This is the driver's side right here. Just a couple little panel clips and the little keepers and a couple screws. And you can drop this entire inner fender liner here. And you can see back there, there's your upper bolt for your for the top of your exhaust pipe right there. And so it makes it a lot easier to reach back in here and get that loose. And there's limited room getting up underneath this thing. And then the hardest thing I see is way in the back there are the connectors for the O2 sensors. And yeah, you can kind of see them up in there. I can't reach them from here. There's no way you're going to reach those from underneath. So I think I'm going to be doing the belly crawl up through the engine compartment and trying to get down there. And there's a lot of room to get your hands on them. You just need to be able to get up and over the engine to get to them. So let's go underneath and see what it looks like and see what we got to do down there. Under the truck, this is the passenger side. There's a flange right here that's going to separate, and then this part here will come back, goes back to about here, and there's another flange here. And then there's a clamp right here. It's interesting why they made these different, but the whole assembly is going to separate right here. And I'm thinking once I get the cats loose, this section right here is going to slide forward and come off and go over this this cross member right here. If it doesn't, I'm going to cut it because they're just going to go in the trash anyway. And I watched a video. I couldn't find a video on the Ranger Raptor SPD pipes anywhere, so I guess I'm kind of pioneering the way here. But I watched one on the Bronco Raptor, and they had to take all the cross members and everything apart and added about 2.5 hours onto the job if you want to save your pipes. If you want to save that 2.5 hours, just get a Sawzall and cut them off. And if you don't plan on keeping them. But we'll see how this goes. And then driver's side over here. Yeah, there's the, it's hard to see, but The lower bolts down there should be easy to get to from down here. There's a clamp right here where it's going to separate. So there's not a lot to take apart. It's just getting to the wires for the sensors and getting to the upper flange bolts and getting through the wheel well should be a lot easier. So all right, I'm going to get started on pulling some of this stuff apart, and we'll stop when we get to a videoable moment. Good place to stop and do some videoing. But so a little ladder like this, and I got some pads and some towels up here. You're going to have to lay across your engine compartment, and then you can get back up in here. You might need both hands because one of those is the little funky kind where you have to pull a little tab back, but you can get to all four of them right here. There's the two that are way down there on the frame, and then there's the two for the driver's side right on the top of the transmission. But lots of room to get in here and get your hands in there. Like I said, you can undo all four of them at one time, and that's I thought that was going to be a lot harder, but it wasn't. And then I got the clamp off the bottom. This clamp right here from Ford, and this is a hokey design. You take all this stuff off. There's a bunch of little tabs you need to press out of the way, and then this thing here you kind of have to spread it out with a couple screwdrivers and get it off that flange right there, and then you got to bend these tabs back, but it's free. It'll come right off. And the two on the other side, way over there, they were just two nuts. So now on the driver's side, all I needed was an extension and a 15mm socket and ratchet, and this nut came off pretty easily. And then for the outer one, like I said, if you take that fender liner off, you can camera's gonna do weird things here. You can get right up on there. You can see that. You can get a ratchet up in there and get that other nut off, which is already loose. So anyway, let me pull this one off right now while I'm down here. Okay, so that should be it. One clamp, two sensors, and two nuts and two flange nuts on the other side. Lock to the driver's side. I'm going to go down there and see if I can wiggle this thing out of here. We got the driver's side out. So once you get the clamp off the back and the two nuts up the front, this thing is literally just going to fall right out. Now, I would highly recommend taking these out first before you try taking the pipe out. So 22mm wrench, you can get up in here, they loosen up pretty easy. The cables are short because you have to turn this thing over like 3 or 4 times to wiggle it out from under the frame. I didn't have to take anything else off. It came out by itself, but if I would have left those O2 sensors in there, the wires, you would have bent some wires over, you could have damaged the sensor, and it would keep you from rotating as much as you have to do. So get those out of there first before you attempt to lower this pipe. And you have to kind of go off the turbo, and then you kind of have to go up above the turbo, and you have to get this pipe to come out over the other mating part. And it's a lot of wiggling and turning and wiggling and turning, but eventually it will you'll find that sweet spot and it will fall right out. So let's see what it looks like compared to the other one. I think this is driver's side. So yeah, it's going to configure a little bit differently, but yeah, look at the size difference on the pipes, man. That is huge. That's a big difference. So and then you don't have this this restrictive. This thing's still warm actually. So I'm about 30 minutes into this job. So so you guys know, this is 30 minutes to get this far. So this is not difficult, but this thing is still actually a little bit hot to the touch. But you got this cast iron. You got a nice angle here going up into this thing where you have some really nice mandrel bent flow going into the new one. So anyway, so that's that side. I actually think the passenger side is going to be a little bit easier. So let me get over there and do that one, and then we'll get back to this spot and we'll go back. And the one on the passenger side came out so much easier. Probably, I don't know, I got maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes in it. Once I took the O2 sensors out first, I thought this one was going to be more difficult because you have to back these studs out of the mating flange and get it off the studs from the back of the turbo. But nah, it fell right out. No twisting, no turning, nothing, man. You pull it up, you pull it back, drops right out. And then now I can see why they might want you to reverse the passenger and driver O2 sensors, because maybe where they're mounted the cables won't reach, but we'll determine that later. And I did have a little snafu when this came out of the turbo. My donut seal here fell out, hit the ground, and these pieces broke off. So it will probably work like this. I don't know how much it gets into the mating surface and how much that's required to seal out the back, but I don't like it. So we're going to take a break and we're going to go down to the Ford dealership. And shit, I might as well just get 2 new ones. So anyway, got to take a little detour on that. But first we're going to take the connector pipe out that goes back over the cross member to make sure we don't need anything else from Ford before I head down there. So and it's early, I don't even think they're open yet. So anyway, we'll come back when we get the pipe out of the middle. I think it's just going to slide right out going towards the front, and we'll be back shortly after that's done. That section is out. That literally took like 5 minutes. The only thing you got to do is take the 2 bolts out of this flange, loosen this clamp, and this I think this coupling gets reused. So to get that off of the pipe, you just pry up on that little tab right there, and it will come right out. So yeah, that took like 5 minutes to get out, and these slid right out of the hangers. You don't need to have those special you know, pipe hanger pliers that push it out of the back end of the bushing. It just, once you get those couplings loose, man, that thing just wiggles right out over the top of the cross member. Didn't have to take anything off. So as of right now, I've got about an hour into this job. From the time I disconnected my my sensor wires, I got maybe 60 minutes in this. This is not a long job, and I think this other stuff's going to go back together so much easier, because there's just so much more room to work around the flanges and get in there and get all the hardware out. And they give you a nice nice V-band clamp to go to here, and this one here will connect where is it? We'll connect this pipe to this pipe, and they put a little which one is it? They have little slits in it. They have little slits so it'll bite down real nice on the pipe when you put it back together. So yeah, I would recommend if you're gonna do this, O2 sensors come out first, and then when you're taking the flanges off the turbo, take the outer nuts off first, because that donut that's in here, once you relieve the pressure on the one that's really easy to get to, the other one is actually pretty super loose. You just have to get up in there and turn it out. You don't have to sit there with long extensions, universals, trying to break it free. So do the outer one first. And I was actually able to get to this back nut with a little ratchet and my 15 millimeter socket, wherever that thing went. But yeah, I don't know where it went. But I got to tell you something. This is my favorite go-to ratchet right here. I've had this ratchet. Just a little bit of trivia. I've had this ratchet almost 50 years. This is the first snap-on tool I've ever bought. It's a little palm-sized 3/8 ratchet, and this is my go-to ratchet right here, because you can get down in there, and this is a great tool. And I actually use this to get in here from the fender well and get the back nut off with that socket, and I didn't have to go underneath and try to get on it. So super easy. Yeah, that one came out. Actually, everything came out way easier than I expected. So I'm going to take a break. I'm taking a trip down to Ford, and we'll come back when I get those replacement donuts, and we'll start throwing this thing back together. So I'll see you guys in a while. We are back. $27 and 2 hours later, and I think almost an hour of that was waiting on hold at the parts department at Larry Miller Ford. I swear to God, one guy running the whole parts department on a Saturday when there's a mob down there. So anyway, one in stock, probably the only one in the state of Arizona, because yeah, it was hard to find and a little bit of a drive. So anyway, we got the new one. Live and learn. Do not drop that on the ground, because that will happen. So we got the new one here. So I am going to go ahead and bolt these 2 new sections in loosely. Just go up there and get the nuts started and kind of see how everything lays up in there. The rest of this should go pretty easy. I mean, if I can get the if I can get the sensors in after the fact, I'll put them in after the fact. But we'll see. We'll go down there and play around, and I'll let you know what happens. All right, folks, I thought this would be a good stopping point to see where I'm at. So this is the driver's side is up in there, and with this heat shield they put on there, which is probably, I don't know how thick that thing is, but just having that heat shield on there, it would not fit between the frame and the drive shaft. So I just had to take all the bolts of the drive shaft off and pull that coupling out of there and just move this thing over. Just, I don't know, it only needed like a quarter of an inch. It was so close of getting that thing forced up in there. And I could have taken the heat shield off, but then I would have had to try to figure out how to reband those little straps they have on there. Could have used hose clamps, but it was just a whole lot easier. Just unbolt the drive shaft. These bolts are like crazy long going through this hub. But anyway, just back that out of the way, move it out of the way. Maybe they're not all like that. I don't know. I tried like 11 different ways to wiggle this thing up in there, and it wouldn't go. So drive shaft came out, and this is interesting right here. Scrap if dropped. I wonder why that is. But anyway, over here on the passenger side, this one has a lot more room, goes straight up in there. And I've already put the upper O2 sensors in. I put those in on the ground. This one the same way over here. There's just a lot more room because you don't have to twist to get this out. And I was actually able to reach up there and plug it back in. There's a connector. And it's hard to see right there. I was able to snap that back in and put the little keeper back in from the bottom. So there's one less I have to do from the engine compartment. And this one, the lower here and the lower here, this one is coming out of the kind of like the opposite side almost. Maybe not, but maybe this is why they had you swap them, so you could have the longer wire on the driver's side instead of the passenger side, because you do have to get up and over the transmission to put it back in. So I left these a little bit loose. You can still move them around a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and fit the rest of the pipes up in here. And you know, the bulk of this is almost done. And you know, taking that fender well liner out of there was a blessing, because even if you're not working from up above, you can reach through, you know, from this side if you had to get to something and, you know, get that thing out of the way. So I would recommend taking that off. But anyway, we're going to put the rest of the pipes in. Should be pretty easy. 2 more pieces, and we should be able to start tightening everything up and getting everything buttoned up. So we'll be back shortly. Okay, folks, we are done. We're at the end of this video. So everything is in. All the clamps are tight. This is the one they give you in the kit right here. All the O2 sensors are in, and it is correct. You have to swap the secondaries because the wire on the driver's side needs to be a lot longer. So you just swap those two. And then got this one over here, and there's a little bit of cable room. Not much to work with, but you got your clamp on here. This is your V-band clamp. I kind of wish they took this heat shield right here and ran it around a little bit further. I mean, this is a plastic oil pan, but I got it kind of centered between this side and the other side up here along the frame, which kind of hard to see up in there, but I got it equally spaced. The 2 hanger posts go back in here and go back in here, and you can actually use that to line it all up to where you get this one perfectly lined up. And this is the clamp that you reuse. And the bolts they give you for this flange are too short. They won't even let you start the nut on. I'll show you how much too short it was. So that's it. That's the whole job. And everything looks like it's all buttoned back up. I did tighten my drive shaft back up. That was pretty easy. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start this thing up. So let me crawl out from under here. Oh, I'm getting too old for this shit. Anyway, so yeah, the bolts they give you are yeah, that's what you need. You need a 2-inch 3/8/16. It's funny, it's a metric head, but it's a 3/8/16 thread. So you're that much too short from working properly. And this is the factory flange bolts. I might have actually been able to put those back in, but then there's off that funny clamp that you almost have to destroy to remove. And then of course your hit the floor and break it failure. So all right, we're all done. So you guys want to join me in the first ever cold start? Let's see how it sounds. Should sound a little bit different anyway. You're probably not gonna be able to hear it on the phone, or on this video. Oh, you know what? I won't start with the hood open. silly programming. All right, let's go ahead and close the hood. No tools in there? Okay, good. All right, let's try it again. I can't believe what a beautiful day it is out here. Okay. Oh, look at all the catalytic converter dust coming out of those. That's funny. Anyway, yeah, definitely a throatier sound. Wow, that's a lot louder than the factory one. So, all right, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna go ahead and crawl underneath and look for leaks and feel around all those flanges, make sure nothing's outgassing where it shouldn't be. But that's it. So this whole job took me about 4 hours. I mean, I took my time putting everything back together, made sure everything clears and nothing's interfering, all the clamps went in real well, good and tight and all that stuff. And I'm not going to quote torque specs here. I mean, if you saw some of my previous videos, everything on this Ranger is loose to begin with. I mean, there was nothing that was tight out of all the different jobs that I've done. So I put it back tighter than it was, so I'm pretty happy with that. But that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys got some good information out of this. You can go to SPD's website and they've got sound clips from all the different driving modes, better than I could do. I don't have any place around here where I can set up a camera and a microphone and do a whole bunch of high-speed passes. So so you'll have to go to their website for that. But anyway, that's it for this video. And now I think I'll start working on a goose tune and getting that going. And then I'm going to call this truck done, finally. Nothing else to do to it. So anyways, thanks for watching, and if I do something else, we'll have another video.